and I went to all these different health and healing practitioners. I even studied one-on-one with an Ayurvedic doctor in India for a couple months.
Okay.
So all of these things I was doing were steadying me. Then I started meditating regularly. And do you know this, Glenn? Like, and anyone listening, when you meditate, how do you feel?
Much more relaxed, much more
Yeah.
in control, much more centered.
Exactly, exactly. So you feel good when you meditate. Now, if you don't feel good when you meditate, then please connect with me later because it might just be the way that you're going about it. And I could make some really easy switches to help you. That's a side note. But what I want to say is
Yeah,
that most of us, if meditation is right for us and we're doing the right type of meditation for ourselves, we're having a good experience from it. And I'm having a good experience meditating, but I'm getting sick again. So I went to the
mm,
doctor and the doctor said, "Yeah, this is just happening because you're overdosed on your medicine." So we lowered my dosage of medication. And then I leveled out. I felt good again. And then I started not feeling good. In the meantime, I'm meditating more. I went back to the doctor. She said, "You're overdosed on your medication. You need to lower your dosage." It's kind of like going from medication to meditation. This to me
exactly.
was a miracle because the
Yeah,
doctors didn't say it was possible. So when you start to hear of opportunities to overcome seemingly insurmountable challenges, you automatically want to share it with others. And then your ears perk
yes,
to other stories, right? Just like when you're going to go buy a blue Honda CRV, what do you see everywhere? A blue Honda CRV, the reticular activating system. Then I'm hearing stories more extreme than mine. There was a moment that I thought I was going to die just because I was getting worse and we weren't finding the solutions, but I really was never going to die from what was going on for me.
sure.
Other people were given real terminal diagnoses and for a few months, a few hours, but I was meeting them years later.
Yes.
And
Okay.
that's what made me dive even deeper into the study of healing, into interviewing all these different experts for my book, Healing Happens Stories of Healing Against All Odds, right on the chair back there. And I got all the certifications in yoga and meditation and energy healing and all different programs to help with counseling and coaching and neurolinguistic programming with people so that I could offer the most support as possible. I wrote this book and traveled around the world sharing from this book. So that's how we get to the healing aspect.
Okay. Okay. You know what I wanted to ask you because the healing aspect that you had to go through to start meditating to make those switches in your world, seems like to me, and I'm just curious, you're dancing. You dance at the Kennedy Center, which I'd like to know more about, but you dance at the Kennedy Center. Did that discipline of dancing and getting good enough to dance at places that you've danced at, did that apply to your healing as well as you're moving into that healing area and teaching?
I'm going to answer that in two different ways because it can help and it can hurt. So it can do both. But what I did out of the book was I pulled together the top 4 full body success mastery strategies. And the first one is reason to live. Focus on your reason to live. Dr. Bernie Siegel was finding that his cancer patients who were terminal, who were focusing on their reason to live, were the ones who were surviving terminal diagnoses. And we could get more into the stories in a moment, but I'll go to your question. So, when you do something that you love, for me, dance, then that is automatically going to keep your spirits high, whether or not it
Mm,
truly impacts your body. But from what a lot of doctors have seen, if you are doing what you love, then you're more likely to overcome health challenges.
okay.
If you are overextending yourself or doing something for the wrong reason or making too much dance and then it becomes stressful, then it's not supportive of the healing process. And there were times that I was practicing, we had to go into the dance studio late at night, and I was doing acrobatics with my dance partner and all these flips and up in the air, blah, blah, blah. I very frequently felt pretty nauseous after rehearsing, but because I loved dancing, it helped me continue to push through and not get stopped
Hmm.
by that. So that in a way helped me continue to live life despite health challenges happening.
Okay. 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 So that makes sense then. So I guess there seems to be a secret there that I would like to just explore a little bit with you. And that's when
Mhm.
you talked about being able to stay motivated and joyful in the work you're doing every day. That seems to be a big secret. Now, you did say something. We have what we call write it moments, but this is a write it moment, I think, just knowing a little bit about you. How are you staying motivated so you can be joyful? Being motivated to get the job done is one thing, but to be joyful, what's taking
Mhm.
place there?
Yeah, there's a lot.
Yeah. Yes, there is.
There's a lot. We were I could talk for a month, right, on how we do this, but let's go back to the dance example.
Okay.
I was at a wonderful job and I was bored and not very motivated, just not excited about it, not very productive. One of my mentors said, "You should start dancing again." And I'll say this, I stopped dancing when I lived at the yoga community because what they suggested was drop everything that you are. Because if you really want to know who you are, first of all, you'll create space for a new identity to come in, but you'll also see what comes back. So I hadn't
Hmm.
been dancing because I was really adamant about following that concept that they taught.
I see.
Otherwise, I wouldn't have stopped dancing. And I started dancing again. And all of a sudden, I'm feeling more motivated. I'm feeling more creative. I'm feeling more excited about the job. I'm more productive. I'm more energetic in the job because
Right.
I did my reason to live, one of my reasons to live outside of the job, to bring that joy back into the job.
Okay.
When
There's that writable moment, by the way. The reason to live comes back into the job. That's one of those moments that you people should be writing down. If I live in my reason, my purpose, it
Mhm.
can bleed right back into the job.
Yeah. And I'll say this, even if you're working a job that is your purpose, but you do it all the time and your purpose is also to have fun, which is part of mine, then that purpose of that job starts to lose its energy and its drive
Hmm.
because you're not creating the balance, the full balance that you need in your lifestyle.
That's
So
interesting.
you could still be doing what you're meant to be doing and not feel motivated and excited. And that's often just means that you need to look at the full picture or your attitude because sometimes we
Okay.
get a little selfish. Oh, nothing's come back to me. I don't want to do this anymore. You weren't doing it for you in the first place, anyways.
Yeah, maybe not. Maybe not. Okay. Okay. Because my question comes in is we don't do things for ourselves, but should we not be doing things for ourselves?
Okay. I knew you were going to dive into that because there's a lot of layers, of course, to that statement. Because a lot of times we do things for others because we think that's a good thing for ourselves to do. So we're actually doing it for ourselves because we do things for others because we feel good when we do things for others. So, in a sense, that is also for ourselves. When
Hmm.
you have a mission to completely serve others, and you start whining in the process, "I'm not getting anything out of this. This isn't fun," or "Nobody's giving back to me." That's when you wanna start questioning. When you get into feelings and responses that don't feel as good to yourself, because those are the moments where you're not paying attention to the bigger mission at hand, to the purpose behind it. And what I would say to that is just remind yourself for the purpose. I'm gonna say this. It's hard for most people to imagine just completely doing something for others and not for themselves. So 99.9% of the people on the planet are gonna still want something in return for what they're giving out. So it's not necessarily a realistic goal for everyone to just say, okay, nothing for myself. And that's why it was like, I need to dance on the side of my job. And there's times where my work takes up all of my time. When I was creating the Valentine's soiree
Right.
nonstop, I even stopped sleeping the last 2 weeks because there was so much to do for it. But I was so inspired by it and the concept of it that I was fine doing that, but when it was over, it was like, "No, I'm going back to creating more balance back for myself again."
Okay. Okay.
So we can't generally completely take ourselves out of the picture, but when you start to whine and whatnot, then just get into what do I need in return? What do I need in return? And go get that for yourself. So here's key because a lot of times you can't control what others give you. Actually, and I'll say this, Glenn, I broke my foot And right a couple months ago, and I was like, okay, I need help so that I can stay off my foot and heal. And then some people would come. It wasn't that much. And without getting into all the stories, it was like they actually messed up the situation more than helped the situation. Like, just somebody's gonna come make me dinner, but then I don't hear from him till 9:30, and I'm sitting there starving, and I'm not supposed to move on my foot. And when you're on crutches, like, you can't do things with your hands. And I mean, I just ordered food. I didn't wait till 9:30, but
Right. Yeah. Still have planned on it. Yeah.
yeah, it's just there were things happening that were causing more stress than help. And I just finally went, stop needing this from others.